Welcome back to some near-professional Starcraft 2. A clan war grudge match between these mid-North American grandmasters from mid-North America. Representing Team Archangel with a pretty sick logo that hopefully wasn't just copy-pasted from Google. The God of Missouri and possibly the only Starcraft player in Missouri, but let's not take that away from him. It is Warren. And in the top right from Team Exxon, with 2 barracks across the map, burning through the countryside, Burninator. He's got 3 barracks on the way. This match sent to us by I was about to say Brickett, which actually sounds pretty cool now that I say it. Drickett, one of the founders of Team Exxon, and also just an enlightened individual, says he stakes his reputation on this mid-level GM, oh my, match being worth the watch. He first said it was Lord of the Rings Extended Edition long, and then he pulled back and said that was a joke. That remains to be seen. It is a best of 5, not just one game, but there are no further details. Both these players are somewhere between rank 20 and like rank 100 GM. I'm not sure at this moment. Now you might be like, I'm Diamond and I play better than this, and to that I say, no, you're dumb. But I build 4 barracks, not 3, and I float them into the main. Calm down, TY. Go beat up on pro gamers. Meanwhile, though, this was spotted by the Overlord. Burninator, though, has tucked himself in. The Marines, a nice squeeze between the rocks, making it difficult that even Warren, who went for a pool first, he built Zerglings, but he's still unable to stop the bunkers from coming up. Both like 30 to 50 GM. So top 50 GM. NA. Ooh. But you tell me, and you tell Drickett at the end of this. After you like and subscribe, get your comment loaded angry at Drickett, but maybe delete it and rewrite it at the end. Okay? Don't press that key. Wait, if you press enter, does it post the YouTube? I don't know. Anyways, Zerglings. Working through the wall. It appears Burninator figured this one out based on the fact the Zerglings were not showing up at the bunkers. The Spinecrawler's not in range of a bunker. Technically, a Spinecrawler can outrange a bunker, but it's kind of finicky and a little uncomfortable. Meanwhile, the Zerglings just splitting damage barely enough to not kill the last 2 Marines, but he's going for the break. Here comes Warren, trying to break through the bunkers. Will he target fire the hatch? He's not doing so. The SCVs were killed. He's not targeting the hatch. The damage is being done so far. He's gonna... Okay, well, he gets it now. The Broodlings, the Nibbly Boys, chasing it down. The second bunker should be salvaged momentarily. And Jimmy! We've got to have this locked down. Settle in. Get your popcorn. Get your pizza rolls. Get whatever you need. There's no pausing, except in replays. But... he's still just building Marines. He's kind of just... I don't know what the strat would be. I guess when you go 3 Rex Marine, you don't really have the income to tech up. A bunch of Zerglings. Are there any Marines in the base, though? So there's a very awkward scenario of, while yes, there is a bunker, there's nothing that can actually stop the Zerglings from using these depots as a chew toy. At the same time, that this is one way to do it, is having Marines force Zerglings to pull back. There is a Spinecrawler, the Queens, Brenda, and her knitting crew trying to sew this back together. Oh, that's a little ambitious! Oh, the Creep Tumor only has collision as it's building, which is a little weird. The Zerglings, not the most incredible cartography, and therefore their pathing mediocre at best. That's fine. That's fine. Stop. The spine is distracted by the rocks. Oh my god. Oh my god. Ah! Warren, stop position! Warren, oh my! Warren literally sticking his spine crawler head into the sand. Are you kidding me, Warren? Come on! And Burninator, I can't believe that hit. All you have to do is hit stop command. You like it's time to. Spine, hello. I mean, Warren now chastising his long dead spine, and the rocks live as well. The unbuildable plates. That's a little on the nose. And the hatchery will die for a second time. The backbone of Warren's build shattered as it was intently focused in a way only Diamond Terrans on their medevacs can usually be on getting those unbuildable plates. I can't believe it. Kill the plates! No, he will leave them for the rest of it. Meanwhile, the Zerglings. Now, repair, a lot of people don't know. Repair, like, it would make sense. It's 1-to-1, right? Like, a depot costs 100 minerals. To repair it costs 100 minerals. No. Repair is 1/4 of the cost, both in minerals and gas. So to repair a depot from, say, 0 to full, that is 25 minerals. So it's almost always better to repair. And it doesn't take nearly as much income as one might think. They were trying to rebuild a depot every few seconds. It's not super clear, but if you test it from 1 HP. The Marines, another round. I mean, this is the oddest pervert pillar here, where there's no vision of it. But the Zerglings, are we doing this again? There's no spine crawler. He's cutting off the reinforcements. Somehow, as we get to the dramatic, this is the cold open of this series, okay? The way it starts is with a spine crawler dying after it breaks its face on a set of rocks, unkilling it. A proxy Rex, and then after 7 minutes, we're going to do our intro cinematic, and we're going to start the game. Alright. And now, with this started, welcome back to... What? No. Are you kidding? Well, never mind. Welcome back to Mid-North American Grandmasters, as he's going to go ahead and fucking wall off this location, but or not. I don't know. We're gonna do some push-ups on those barracks, and it does appear. Okay, so now we're gonna go to, well, what could be a macro game. Warren has lost only 3 drones, but he only has 19 drones because he's lost 3 spines. And he's built 2 more. So 5 of his drones have been lost to spines. As in, they built the spine. Come on, it's not that great of a logical leap. Whereas Burninator is now upgrading stim. Where? Oh, at the back of his main. Okay. He's gonna drop supply on one of his precious few supply depots that aren't in the wall. And wall off the natural. He doesn't know where Warren's gonna go with this. Warren has been struggling. It's a little hard for Burninator. Sure, he killed the hatchery a couple times, but he doesn't know exactly how low the drone count is. He can have his suspicions, but there's a chance that Warren had a lair or something behind that. I don't think he scouted. Yeah, so this entire game, Burninator has been working off the assumption that Warren has a hatchery in his main, which in my opinion is a pretty safe assumption, but that should tell you how much scouting he's done of the main. No, not again! The spine crawler showing their ancestors how to get it done. Finally, the 3rd generation of spine crawlers look back in the old yearbooks of spine crawlers past and say, you guys would love to see us today. I wish you were here, but unfortunately, your own ignorance caused your death, so maybe not. Meanwhile, the Hellions, a couple Hellions get wrapped and packaged towards their death. Meanwhile, the rest of the Hellions on the run. Or drive. Whatever. And everybody slows down. Back to your corners. In this Team League match. Shout out to Drickett for putting on Team Leagues with Team X on. Of course, you guys know Nina. the artist formerly known as Puck, new and improved, as the title player. Burninator, though, part of the roster. And then Team Archangel, I'm going to be 100%. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I didn't know that was a team, but now I do. Team Archangel featuring the God of Missouri and also other players who I will find information on soon enough. Meanwhile, this is a Hellbat 1 medevac. Usually you'd see this around 4 or 5 minutes. Well, only a few minutes past that point. Baneling's on the way. That's a whole lot of Marines. They got Stim. No upgrades for either side besides the basic ones. Stim, Zergling speed, Baneling speed on the way, combat shields. Those Hellbats are pretty dangerous, but there's only a handful of them. 3. The Spine Crawlers holding the line. But the Queens are body blocking out the Banelings. They can't get through, and Warren just loses all. Rocks are a real issue for him. Missouri, not known for its geological beauty. And he just doesn't know how to handle these incredible changes in elevation. I'm going to get all 4 people with internet in Missouri. They're going to be mad at me by the end of this. If the Banelings had gotten towards the Marines and the Zerglings were still intact to be able to get the wraparound, I don't know. Maybe it looks a little different. I don't think it was enough Banelings without speed to really make the damage happen. Let's look. Why are we... Cricket, why are we not using WCS Gameheart? I want to do my fancy income overlays. And have the workers lost. Otherwise, how can you be a professional? One is on the way. The very first upgrade's 12 minutes in. Which is a little on the late side for most games. By that I mean 3-3 could technically be finished by this point if it was a little bit more of a typical macro match. But once again, they won't stop beating on each other. Burninator's Hellbats, appropriately named, really threatening Warren right now, who has next to no... He just got up to 48 drones. He's got 3 bases. He's got 1-1 on the way, but this unit composition is so much more cost-effective, even with Baneling speed. He really needs creep and an upgraded... Oh, the Queen! Brenda, what have you done? Just 3 Queens dead for free. Warren's asleep. It's past his bedtime, but he's got to wake up and pull an all-nighter if this match is going to go how we think it's going to go. It's unclear how either player finds a way to kill each other. That's too many Banelings to deal with. Okay, the Widowmine. Okay, Warren's really struggling to try to draw the Widowmines and the SCVs, but that's a great... Oh my god damn it, Warren! So that was... It still goes okay, but Warren really... It could have gone better. That's one way to put it. These Widowmines are a real issue here. Wait, is Drilling Claws done? No, he sees it. Kill them! Ah! Meanwhile, it looks like some Banelings rolled in and killed 14 SCVs. So, at least that was pretty good for Warren. And suddenly he has a worker advantage. He's at 60. He's got 1-1. If he starts his 2-2 on time, he's going to get a hatch on the right, a hatch on the left. The creep spread's starting to look good. It looked for a bit like Burninator might have an opportunity to just push through. But. And don't come back. So the Banelings technically scouted the medevacs and vice versa. But did Warren actually see that? The answer is doesn't matter, because he's just going to drop right on top here. A couple Banelings still looking for the opportunity. And behind the hatch here, oh my god, the DPS of the Marine. A few Marines were left behind. Another couple Banelings heading in. The Marines just kind of chilling. Oh, sneaks around the back. There's a Marine over there. It's a weird tower defense game. 3 more SCVs go down. Meanwhile, though, Warren, while, yes, obviously this has gotten off to a weird start, Warren is locking it down. He's got 60 drones. He's got 4 bases. Yeah, sure, he lost that one. But he's keeping Burninator's economy at a more minimal position. Yeah, he's got 50 SCVs, so it's not terrible. But the creep spread is the real story. Some pretty impressive creep spread from Warren. based on the circumstances. Well, what are you doing? Wait, what? No, kill, what? Why? For a moment, I thought he wasn't going to go kill those creep tumors, but he finished them off. And remember, for the Hellbats, the armory was already done, and Burninator can start that too. So while Warren has stabilized and he's held it together, Burninator still has plenty of production. We have some semblance of sanity. Now after 15 minutes, if you didn't know better, this would look like a normal game. Got 2-2 on the way, a bunch of Hydras, solid drone and SCV counts. Creep spread about halfway across the map, but Burninator still able to put on pressure. Hydraling Bane against units that start with M. But Widow Mines technically start with a W. Nobody likes you. Stop being that guy. Come on. Come on. It's time to stop. So that Widow Mine is burrowed, but precariously at best. Hey guys, they'll never see me down here. Did another Widow Mine... Did that Widow Mine fire? Yes, it did. It's got 7 kills. But it finally dies. Overlord speed is on the way. Warren is sick of dealing with these mines. Meanwhile, there's this... I don't know where these drops are going. It appears that neither player really wants to commit. Because now they've finally gotten an economy. They've gotten some infrastructure put together. And, well, the armies are dangerous to one another. Off a creep, the Hydraling Bane is going to struggle, even though there aren't many tanks. Whereas on creep, the Marine Mine Medevac is going to have a real tough time, especially considering Warren has a slight upgrade advantage. Hey, guys. Yeah, jacked up, good to go. Steam to win. Oh, wait, that's not the law. Billy, the Changeling, once again... not reading the script. And a whole bunch of Marines. Get the creep. Get the creep. Why did you stim? Just to test it out? Meanwhile, these... Why are there Hydras here? I guess he was clearing the watchtower. It's going to get messy. This entire game has been messy. But we're just going to take it a few levels deeper. It's going to look like a Nickelodeon show in the early 2000s. With how slimy this map is getting and how much green goo there's going to be all over the place. Target demographic. Ultralisk Cavern, Spire, Hive, the rest of the tech, by the way. Pathogen Glands, +1 ranged attack, +3 melee, +3 carapace, bad legs, Widow Mines! I'm just saying what's on the screen! 52 more Zerglings on the way, but Warren's still down in supply. There's a few. I don't blame him for having such a nice mine spread. As come on, guys. We're gonna go get him. Oh, wait. No, the Changeling. Switch sides again. A turncoat. No, really, I'm real, guys. I'm real. Meanwhile, a whole bunch of Zerglings come in and just kind of die, which isn't ideal. Warren's struggling with the idea of a Changeling being not on his left army hotkey. Meanwhile, a flank. No, not really. Kind of. It could be, but no. It's just kind of running off into the sunset. That beautiful Missouri sunset. Nice flat plain, bunch of corn stalks, sunset. As Burninator wants to set that sunset on fire. Meanwhile, a huge... Okay, well, it came together. Big Zergling counterattack. He's trying to draw some fire. Widowmon hits coming through. Yanks a tank. Yanks a lib. Takes one down. Meanwhile, the Zerglings are just kind of going ham. They get 7-8 kills. There's still a Widowmine down here. They got drilling claws, which means no overseers, and you're going to have problems every 30 seconds or so. Scans there. Meanwhile, Burninator 195 supply, but he can't seem to lay the hammer down. He's only at 2-2. He's just getting the +3. I say that because 3-3 is closing in alongside chitinous plating for Warren. What just happened there? The Widowmine connected again. Surprisingly few kills. Is there an overseer on the map? There is one. Where the hell is it? Oh, there it is. Meanwhile, the Banelings trying to roll through. Widowmines as well, finding some connections. Blinding Cloud. Down goes a Viper, but the first Blinding Cloud was too damn good. Rolls the Banelings through the front, all the way up to the high ground. Another tank stands its ground. As Well, when it's sieged up, it doesn't really have much of a choice. Chitinous plating is finishing up. The Chopolisks are on the way. Big Daddy's coming home. And Warren has 6 bases to work with. And despite having some tough fights so far, losing 5,000 more resources, including 1,800 more gas, Burninator has not really teched up particularly quickly. He hasn't gotten the upgrades. He doesn't have that many Liberators. He doesn't have any ghosts nor a Ghost Academy. Liberator range is a distant dream, a fever dream by the time this is over. As right now the links... Oh, one of the Metamax is just kind of full as well. Is there Hydra Speed? Hydra Speed is done. He's just off a creep. The Ultralisks, without their Usain Boltralisk upgrade, are just so slow, trying to chop through, but chopped down by the Marauders, Widow Mines. And also the Marines participated, so they should get some trophies. The Ultralisk got caught in the corner. Nobody puts Ultra in a corner. I just inhaled so hard I'm choking. But hopefully Warren doesn't when he tries to trigger his Baneling Mine. Do not gasp, it's so dramatic. Ah! The scan! It's time! And now you see why people don't go Baneling Mines. I'm sorry. Somebody give Warren the Heimlich. He's definitely choking. He's got he's got a great army composition. Vipers, get over here. Good Blinding Cloud. Starts things off. More Ultras moving through. They got speed. 3-3 is done. Parasitic Bomb. Metavax taking big damage across the board. Finally, one goes down. More Blinding Clouds, potentially. Parasitic Bomb, Blinding Cloud, Ultra down. Widow Mine, friendly fire, unfriendly fire. So much fire. Burninating the countryside. Hydralisks in retreat. Their knees broken if they had knees. And now they're regretting that decision to never evolve them. Well. And everybody's just going to chill for a bit. Warren, the Banelings at some point died. I don't know if they were triggered or... Dun, 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 dun. The Widow Mine. Yeah. I imagine it makes the grin. If you guys watched Innovation vs. Maru, first, pause this video after liking and subscribing and open that up. From GSL Round of 16. Go watch that right now. And then, I imagine, a Widow Mine every time it burrows and is about to hit a bunch of units makes the face Innovation made after every game he played. Just imagine that. Just like in the little window of the Widow Mine, Innovation making that face every time. And now thank you for coming back from that match. I mean, Kybrit was right the whole time, right guys? And back to the action. What are these guys doing here? Vipers on the way. And suddenly, this entire time, Warren has lost so much. He's lost 3,000 more gas, 5,000 more minerals. But Broodlords have arrived. There are already ghosts out. Snipe's in obvious danger. That's a lot of Marines. Blinding Clouds, Banelings. Are there Blinding Clouds for the tanks? Are there anything for the tanks? The Vipers are just kind of dying. The Broodlords are trying to hold. Tanks work both ways. When the Nibbly Boys read, no, that's a lot of Broodlords. That's a feudal society of Broodlords right there. As the Broodlings rain onto the tanks, they're forced to unsiege, and despite a messy fight, Warren holds. Oh, they're gonna take those 3-3 on the ground. So the first, when the Broodlords throw their Broodlings to the ground, that is air attack damage. That's flyer attack. The Broodlings strike impact damage. But once they hit the ground, they benefit from the same upgrades as Zerglings. So that is it for your knowledge and information. I'm here to entertain, but most importantly, I'm here to educate. I'm mostly a teacher. Have you heard of Angry Coach? So subscribe today. Meanwhile, the engineering bay. He's getting those Broodlings out. The Widow Mine's struggling. For the first time, it looks like Warren has a real attack coming together. Thors and Vikings are technically are there any Corruptors? He has no Corruptors, which seems like a bit of an oversight. There's only 9 Hydras as well, which is definitely on the lower side. The Vikings don't have any upgrades besides +2 mech armor. Ship weapons needs to be upgraded individually, as he's now realizing. That's Neural Parasite for the Brofesters, of which he has 7, and I think some of them have been building energy. Not really, but so there's just been kind of a line of creep spread. There's been a creep colony over here that was eventually cut off, but Warren has kind of casually been spreading it in the top left corner of the map, and that's one way to scout for hidden base. Oh, he wants it. He wants it so bad. He needs it. But will he have it? Oh, the scan misses it by that much. The changelings are spotting the army. Does he even notice? This is it. We might actually... there's not that many marines in the army is kind of the... Oh, the infestor! What are you doing? Oh, the baneling mine kind of... And of course, as you know, like once a baneling mine goes off, you have to scan, even though the banelings are already used. It is known. Meanwhile, a great set of fungals kills most of the Vikings, brings them back to 3 Vikings. Another scan looking for baneling mines, I would assume, even though he just scanned them. Hey, guys. Oh! No! Deserter! Cut him down! Wait, what? Oh, no, you know what counters Thor's? I don't either. Thor's! I mean, if you can't build them, hire them. And Thor's a great counter to Vikings. Oh, he turns the Thors to his side. And Broodlord Thors are pretty fucking powerful unit composition. As you have the best of both worlds when it comes to air to ground and ground to air. Meanwhile, the creep is getting closer. Warren, but Warren! He has full energy Vipers, but he's kind of just losing, and he splits the Vikings. Kind of, it's not perfect. Meanwhile, here comes Warren. He smells blood in the water, but that might just be failure. Meanwhile, Marines holding their ground. That's a lot of Ultras. The rest of the Zerg is kind of showing up to the party. Burninator taps out. He did type GG, just tapped out very quickly after. And Warren, just easily, with no effort at all, takes game 1. Warren holds. The Neurals actually broke it. The Thors were the right choice for Warren. Rarely do you see Neural Parasite like that. That's what every Zerg in their mind. Or maybe their mind is Neural Parasited. Who knows? How deep does it go? The conspiracy. But every Zerg is like, I'm going to steal all of his best units. I'm going to win the fight and win the game. But rarely does that fantasy come true. No SCVs out on the map. What's it gonna be? A barracks in his main. How uninspired. Meanwhile, Warren building a hatch rate is natural. Also uninspired. Looks like we're gonna have a boring, standard match. What is this? This is not the music. Intensity, drama, excitement, suspense, anxiety, contemplation, deliberation, compromise. SCV on the way. It's going to be a 1-rack expand. Which how many tens of thousands of times have I seen and done this build? But, what is the follow-up? Are we going to get some battle cruisers? Are we going to... the barracks does its customary push-up, and then starts... Everybody knows the build, like barracks, Reaper, push-up, Marine, as it goes. Make sure to incorporate that. I think he may have moved it in a location that the reactor will no longer wall. I'm not sure. Is he going to build a reactor, or is he just going to micro his Reaper like a diamond player instead of building his goddamn reactor? Burninator. Classic. That's a second Rax. It looks like everybody wants to use that literally a day ago. TY used a Hellbat push build, like a mildly delayed Hellbat push build in GSL, up against Dark. And now, apparently, it's the flavor of the day, as we have a delayed barracks. So this is like, once again, back to the Diamond player build of, oh yeah, I forgot my reactor, so I have too many minerals. And it might be that. But there is, that is potentially part of a delayed Hellbat push build as well. So he's got a third CC. There's not going to be a starport as early as usual. But where do we go from here? Warren is building drones, building queens. He's doing all the things and the stuff you're supposed to do. Like, that's standard. We're worried about Burninator over here. How much will he burninate with these Hellions? Will Warren have any Zerglings? He has 4 Zerglings to defend. The Hellions just kind of show up. We should see a few Zerglings in the production tab. No, he doesn't care. Warren's at 6 queens and counting. I appreciate that. I appreciate a man who respects his queens and understands their value. So, what I'm trying to say is, Yas Queen. Plural. Meanwhile, supply drop a little before the command center. We've got the starport on the way, and is there going to be an? There has to be an armory. There's got to be an armory. You don't go stim and just let. Burninator agrees. There it is. Double medevac, stim marine hellbat push. Now TY transitioned this into mech in his game. It is kind of a weird, almost 180. Not really. It's more like a off ramp from the build, and maybe going a slightly different direction. But it is a transition. I don't think he's going to do that because he's already got a tank on the way. The armory's about to be. How much did Warren see? He didn't see. He did not see the armory, but it's kind of implied. To be honest, like it's something he should know is a real threat. Banelings, 12 Banelings, a dozen Banelings on the way. That sounded better. So this attack, similar to last game as well, by the way. Just pointing that out. Now you got to be careful with those Zerglings. So he runs the Zerglings all the way away. Connects with the Banes. Another Bane comes in. The Hellbat's thinned out. Oh, the Queens. Yas, Queens! There you go! And the Marines on the run! Zerglings nibbling at their armored heels. And he kills one of the medevacs, all the Hellbats. That attack came with too little and too late to really get the damage done, and Warren was able to slap it away with relative ease. Meanwhile, the fact that this is bio and isn't some sort of weird transition, already scouted out. In fact, this is a great situation for Warren. He's got 1-1 on the way. The engineering bay is just starting up. The upgrades are going to be significantly delayed. Already Aspire. Baneling speed, boom, done in 5 seconds. He's got 66 workers. He's got 4 hatches. He could add more if he wants. Spire's halfway done. This is almost an ideal scenario. The only downside is that Burninator also went for a quick third command center. That's part of the reason the attack was relatively slow, but also means that Warren can't just sit back forever and not worry about, like, he's not contained to 2 bases. There is going to eventually be another attack. And the question will be, how many mutas does Warren invest in? How well does he do with them? And Muta's a finicky creature. Those Mutas have a good chance of catching Burninator by surprise, but at the same time require a whole lot of babysitting. The only good Muta is a well-managed Muta. Because Alright, the requirement for babysitting those Mutas just went down significantly. They now just became an even better choice, as Burninator has 2 medevacs of Marines evaporate. How much gas income? You can see down here, for those who don't know, that this WCS Game Heart overlay, not extension mod, that's different, that's on top of it, but overlay, you can see best of 5. 1, the number to the right of the minerals and gas, it might seem intuitive, but that is their income per minute. So if you need that running, tally there. How succinct, how concise. Meanwhile, the Zergling's just going at the rocks. Don't want to get caught in that. Oh, Brenda! What are you doing? Oh, murdered! The Queen's just hung out to dry. How many mutas are out? 13 mutalisks. They have yet to be revealed. Are there turrets at all? No. Burninator already struggling economically. Didn't deem it necessary to build those turrets. And where are the mutas? What are the mutas waiting for? Why are they just flapping around? Go do something. Go. Muta. Go. Come on. Go. All right. So there's no defenses in the main. Those mutas definitely could have gotten a lot of economic damage, but they could also destroy these medevacs and all the units inside. 3 Marines thinking they're like, oh no! We don't win! That's a lot of oh my god, that's a lot of tanks. Oh, but is it enough? Alright. So I just wanted to do this real quick. I know. Stop. Break. This is for Warren. How do you become a pitcher in baseball? Well, I could post a better clip. We could just post the last 20 seconds. Because Warren definitely throws harder than any of those guys. The units lost is now, I mean, last time it looked good for Warren too, and he eventually, I mean, it looked bad for Warren rather. The units, he lost way more. But eventually he was able to make the difference. But this time, he's got Mutiling Bane. You can't, he lost all of the Banelings and so many of the Mutas. Well, this time the Banelings are doing okay. That's so many tanks. 17 SCVs just kind of die, so that evens things out a little bit. But remember, and it's very depressing to think about, but every time a Baneling attacks, it dies. So even if you trade Banelings for SCVs, you are trading gas for minerals. So at some point, you got to leverage that. Finally, a decent connection there. But again, less than 1,000 gas lost by Burninator. Meanwhile, It's like the Baneling's kill counter is kind of weird because if it attacks, it doesn't count. Oh, it's so loud. It seems like Warren's doing damage. But, Jimmy, can we bring up that tab? Okay, never mind. So, Mutiling Bane is kind of like a screwdriver. Okay, a screwdriver and a set of pliers. You try to unscrew and screw in things there. You try to, like, bend something out of shape there. It's not a hammer. If you use it like a hammer, if you use a hammer on a set of wires, you're likely to get electrocuted. I'm not an electrician, so if I had a set of wires in front of me, I probably wouldn't use a hammer. But Warren, this has gotten away from me. Whatever I'm saying has gotten away from me, just like Warren's strategy. Though, despite everything, Warren has like half the map. He's got like 7 bases. How many hatches? He's got 6 hatcheries with 1 more on the way. He's got Ultralisk with 3-3 and chitinous plating against a player who apparently lost their NG Bay or just didn't start +2 attack. Thors are stuck! They're stuck! He lowered the depot. He has to use the max because he has a depot drop. He can't. They're too thick. I don't know. Guys, why can't we fly over the mountain? We can fly in space. Shut up, Martin. Shut up. Just fly close. Martin the Muta. Always complaining. So, Burninator is now in his designated corner. Let's get that mini-map. Jimmy. God. Jimmy. So now, Burninator is in his designated corner. And Warren has everything else. But... scan spotted the Bro Banes. Warren has lost almost double the units, including triple the gas. So... But, once again, it hasn't been that much. So I would like to take this time to point out a Twitch chat comment, which I rarely do during these live casts. Pizza Hut, with a Z, but not where you think, asks, can you neural your own units? I just want everyone to spend this small bit of downtime dwelling on that question, and let's move along. Meanwhile, there's a whole bunch of 11 Ultralisks. But Thors are a pretty good counter. Liberators are okay. Burninator's maxed out. Warren's just not. He's waiting for Burninator to make a move. Oh my god. I mean, oh, okay. Well, it's only Ultras. It's only. Is it enough? The Marines also want to participate, though they do very little. Because they don't even have +3 attack. The Ultras are kind of winning, right? There's just enough. Meanwhile, the Muta's in the main. More at whatever base this is. I think that's just barely enough as this. Okay, if you wanted a hammer, you finally found the nail. Oh my god. Somehow Warren still almost manages to lose everything. By the end of it, the units lost was still... Oh, okay, it's about even. He did win the fight. But Warren made sure as many units as possible were lost in the making of that production. But Burninator is unable to hold... That brings us to match point. And Jimmy says it's time for a quick ad, though maybe we shouldn't trust him, as you got to take advantage of the situation. I'll be right back. If you guys can pause it and block. Do not skip. It's illegal. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Winter, and I'm here to tell you all about StarCraft 2 content. Are you wondering, Winter, why am I not seeing all your exciting casts you do every day? But instead, am getting the same loco video that eventually I will watch so it'll stop showing up in my recommended. Well, you can ring the bell. If you ring the bell every day at essentially the same time, unless Jimmy fucks something up, you will have a notification, and you'll be like, is someone texting me? Did I actually get a message? No, it's Winter's video, so that's even better. So ring that bell. Also, you can do it on Twitch, but you can go to twitch.tv/wintergaming at any time, and you might be like, Winter, do you stream 24 hours a day? No, but we have reruns. And you might be like, how do I tell the difference? And the answer, if you can't tell the difference, does it even matter? So, tune in at all times, every day, all of the time, multiple monitors. Put it on your smart refrigerator. Put it on your car panel or whatever. Watch while you should be driving your Tesla on autopilot. Whatever. Don't do that. Legally, do not do that. But I mean, you could. But make sure to do all those things. Like, subscribe, put it on your Apple Watch. I don't actually know how that works, but maybe. I don't know. You never know. So check all that out. Good luck. Have fun. Make it happen and have an amazing day. Back to the series. Everyone's favorite map, Golden Wall, for the next match. Burninator on match point. The God of Missouri. Archangel Gaming's Warren. Able to take down 2 clean matches. I'm surprised there are no SCVs sent out on the map. I really am. Golden Wall featuring the Underground in the overworld, the unlockable DLC. Once you mine enough minerals and pay them to the mineral wall gods, you are allowed to expand to the set of bases between, well, on the south side of the map. Whereas the free-to-play non-mineral plebs only have access to the northern bases. So we will see. Terran players usually the ones to utilize that most quickly. But occasionally you'll see some cheeky plays from every race. You gotta pay the mineral toll to get through the mineral hole. Yeah. So far, though, not even an SCV scout. I spoke too soon. Or did I? I did. What will the SCV see? I don't know, Winter. Could you commentate the same opener that you've commentated/played thousands of times? Sure. SCV's gonna come up, see that this is gonna be a hatch first. That means the Reaper can come across the map, start to poke, look for a third base, maybe even snipe that first creep tumor. But the SCV could potentially block the third. Now on some maps, the third base, it could be just one location. On Golden Wall, you do have potentially the option for the golden base, but it is a little risky as you got those minerals behind. So the SCV gonna block, but the drone on the chase. Reaper making its way across. He builds a depot, and he gets out. What incredible SCV micro! The Reaper is here, and Warren can't be happy about that one. Snipes the drone. Actually a great play there from Burninator to keep everything alive. Meanwhile, in Marine, I think Select All Army found a little use there. But now Warren's kind of in an awkward spot, because you don't really want to take the gold and he didn't get his third. Millings are making their way out. Oh, he doesn't want to let him... If the Reaper is next to the gas geyser, he can't build an extractor on it and keep it from dying. Run! There you go. It looks like this is... Don't do that. Oh, it's a Korean barbecue build. Unless he's going to go for a Hellbat. No. I mean, cyclone timing. No. Mass Hellbat. 3 factories. Sending the Hellion across to scout. This is going to look similar to what the last few builds have been. Well, the Overlord is coming in to scout. Burninator going with the most burninating possible build. Will this even have an armory, or is he just gonna... Okay, there's a tech lab. It could be Cyclone. It could be a Hell Clone style. He decides better. And I'm going to take this time to... I didn't get nearly enough mileage out of this thumbnail, so... I'm going to use it now as he starts Magfield Accelerator. So, enjoy. I can't reuse it. Rest in peace, Gumiho. Had to go to military this year, unfortunately. Incidentally, that threw me off so much. Oh, the queen burns! Murder! Cyclone's on the way. This is already doing some damage. The Cyclone upgrade is nearly done. Now, queens are not armored units, nor are they light. They're just angry. Then don't you dare be like, well, aren't queens massive? No, of course not. Don't you dare. Don't let Brenda hear that. They're just kind of queens. So that means Magfield Accelerator doesn't do extra damage, but the lock-on itself does pretty good damage no matter what. So far clearing the creep, diving in towards the third. Oh my god, I didn't even see that. I was not paying attention. Oh, wow. But still 2 cyclones. That was everything. That was everything anyone had. The Banelings just show up. He comes up the ramp, and most of the units don't make it back down. The problem here for Warren is he doesn't have an incredible economy. How close is the third base? Because this was a 2-base timing. This is a ridiculously effective or cost-efficient unit composition, assuming you don't, say, walk up a ramp into Banelings. The Cyclones can kite roaches for literally days. Okay, not literally days, but days. As even the lock-on outranges the roach attack, especially before speed is done. Speed is done now, which means on creep the roaches can catch up, but he's got 7 Cyclones against not enough roaches. Oh wait, is he just gonna win? Drickett said every game was over 20 minutes. Drickett was just trying not to do spoilers, okay? Because right now, I don't see how Warren gets out of this one. The Cyclones are far too cost-effective. Even with 1-1 finishing. Like, the lock-ons don't care about your armor. He's going home. Why are you going home? So Burninator gives up all of his map control there. Yeah, sure, he killed the base, but he just leaves when he still had plenty of Cyclones. He's going to join up with another round. High energy. Ravager. Just Ravagers. His army is just... Okay, he has a few Lings and Mains, but mostly just Ravagers. +2 is on the way. This doesn't require very many drones. Still, though, Burninator has 63 SCVs. He's getting the armor upgrades because most of his damage is relying on the lock-ons and the Blue Flame. He doesn't have Blue Flame, but he should be starting that up very soon. Sure, it's not huge against anything but Zerglings, but no reason not to have it. It's pretty cheap. Oh, the Hellions go down. The Ravagers still trying their best. Ravagers also not armored units. They're just also thick. And therefore struggle to really all engage unless they're within range. Meanwhile, 5 SCVs go down to either a Baneling or a Zergling counterattack, either way. Meanwhile, he's on creep. Gonna lose 1 Cyclone, but dodges past the Corrosive Biles. So now we're just gonna see a whole lot of seeing if Burninator makes a mistake. And when there's no Hellions, so part of it is you're not actually individually targeting the lock-on, except on things like hatcheries. I don't even think Maru does that. But, so when you have Zerglings, sure, they're going to die, but if they can eat the lock-on instead of a Roach or a Ravager, that's obviously better. You'd rather lose a Zergling than a Roach. I crunch the numbers. But still, Burninator slowly grinding away. He still has 70 workers. The Hellbats, the sacrificial lambs. And Warren, what is the way out of this? He's getting +2 attack. He's getting an infestation pit. Burninator has 4 bases. He's got +1 armor. He's still producing off of 5 factories. It doesn't... infestors. Infestors are the stretch goal here. And it's quite a stretch. For every Cyclone that dies, like 4 or 5 Roaches are dying. If not more. It's almost to the point where the Cyclones can actually just fight. He's lost 8 Cyclones to 16 Roaches, 46 Lings, 20 Banelings. This is not getting any easier. I've been in this position as Zerg. It feels like... It's like you're trying to fall asleep, or at least take a nap, but then every minute a fucking smoke detector is beeping. It's like... It's almost the same noise. Listen. Beep, beep, beep. Beep. That stupid lock-on noise. Okay, you can lock on with 8 Cyclones at the same time. Wow, micro-intensive strategy there with the auto-cast lock-ons. Warren tries. He's gonna try to jump the army. It reacts. Roaches will die. So Warren has lived this long. He's now got this base, and he has some drones, and that is about to end. Meanwhile, he kind of just loses those drones, and while that's happening, the Cyclone's trying to come in. He wanted to lock onto the hatchery, I assume. He will lock onto the hatch. Just needs to give it a nice quick scan, or maybe not even that. Down goes the hatch. It's almost impossible to... Oh, he walks into his own Corrosive Bile. This is just an unmitigated disaster. Queen kind of just dies. The Corrosive Bile's doing as... Okay, that's... Yep. Let's wrap it up. Let's pack it in. There it is. A solid... Burninator just gets a good lead to start and runs with it. Back and forth. I'm sorry. You might be like, Winter, you seem kind of biased. As a caster, you're supposed to be completely unbiased and neutral. And to that I say, fuck off. Hell clones are pretty fun to play, but when you don't have the economy, and you're stuck running back and forth in an extended death animation, Hell clones are, well, it's like you died and went to hell. And but in hell, every few seconds is the Cyclone lock-on noise. That is hell. That is nightmare. I think, like, because, of course, I dream of games, and StarCraft especially. And in my dreams, for Wings of Liberty, it was me dying to Blinkstalkers. Like, me, like, unable to deal with Blinkstalkers because I was moving, like, in a dream, you move slowly. But I've had nightmares where it's like, oh, I'm trying, roaches are chasing, like, you can't really describe it, but I've had nightmares where it's like, oh yeah, try to chase down the hell clones. Okay, good luck with that. At the end of this infinitely long tunnel is a cyclone that's locked onto you, Winter. Meanwhile, that's a pool first for Warren. He's done with this. He wants to finish this match right here, right now. He's got gas. It looks like it's just a speedling play, so it's not like a big Ravager all in. Burninator has SCV scouted. Consistently. He's doing it again. But he has SCV scouted every game of this series. Besides the one where he went for the multiple proxy wrecks. Actually, I don't remember if he SCV scouted or not. So he will see this. But he does scout kind of late. And that means the Reaper will be able to stay at home. The thing is, this is so many Zerglings that the Reaper is not going to solve everything. Oh yeah, there's the classic push-up build. Nicely done. Just making sure those lift jets are working. Now the SCV. Ooh, gonna go down pretty early. Command center only halfway done. This is gonna be a cancel. Unless he pulls the boys, which could be disastrous. Speed is on the way. You don't want to lose too many Zerglings beforehand. The fact that this many Zerglings were built should kind of give away the build a little. I'm surprised that well, I guess he's still going to give it a shot, but Zergling speed just finished up. The command center, yeah, once you see Zergling speed, just get rid of it. No more command center. Command center is over. He got caught on the low ground with the Marines. The Reaper, don't tell me you're going to try to keep it. It'll keep him distracted, I guess. Meanwhile, the Zergling is split off to box out the Reaper. He's already building a new CC on the high ground. He has denied the command center. Oh, the Reaper! The Zergling! Oh, the hops on that Zergling! The LeBron James of Zergling reaches up and drags the Reaper down to its death. Those wings are good for something. And now there will be no scouting for quite a while. That's one of the most frustrating things as a Terran. It's like, but it jumped, but the Reaper jumped. Well, not high enough. I like how Warren, I mean, what else are you going to do? Make a roach himself? No, he's going to be ready, so. Macro it out. He got the CC, cancel it. Now he's got to catch up. Okay, more push-ups. He's going to catch up in workers. He does have some catch-up to do. Yeah, we've already talked about Warren and rocks. That's a long story. It's hard to talk about. Warren up to 25 drones. He sees the command center. Does he see the second one? No. Did he see the tech lab starport? No. It's going to be a Viking. It looks like Warren has done his attack. It's been successful. He canceled the CC, and it was probably more Zerglings than he wanted to build to do that. He made like an extra 10 Zerglings or so than he probably wanted. So that means his economy is still in kind of a tough position, and there's a unit that can definitely exploit that, especially if you're being kind of stingy on the queens. And that unit is called the Battlecruiser. So that's unfortunate for Warren. The fusion core is already nearly complete. Now, Burninator does not have the gas nor the minerals with which to build it quite yet. But still, especially considering there are 3 command centers already done. A battlecruiser is a strong complement. As it's very unlikely Warren's just going to go into like layer tech for Aspire. He's going to be kind of skimping on the queens. He's only got 5. Only. And with Hellions on the field, the Queens could be drawn out of position as well. Battlecruiser begins. 10 drones on the way. There's not that many Zerglings. He'd love to get us around, but 5 Hellions is a tough proposition. No extra production yet for Burnin. Oh my god, wait, what? He just runs in with the Zerglings! There's nothing! There's nothing here! He's got 3 Marines! There's not even the Hellions! They're scrambling back, but they took the scenic route! I told you not to go that way! Only 3 SCVs. This is not going to be nearly as bad as it looked. Well, who had the map? Okay. Oh, he gets in. Oh my god. The Zergling! The Serraling! But he doesn't head to the back of the mineral line. He does see the 3rd CC. He sees the Tech Lab starport. He's going to have his suspicions. He did only kill 5 workers, and a couple of those were in the early attack on the command center. But he has strong suspicions of Battlecruiser, as well he should. He doesn't need to see the fusion core to understand what's coming. And there is not... Wait, is he going to jump? No, he's going to... It's a Tacticruiser. He's not going to jump. He's just going to fly across the old-fashioned way. And that means that he'll be able to use it for whatever it's worth to complement the Hellions and then jump out with little to no risk. Now, of course, it doesn't have the impact. The knitting crew has come together. The Queen Moot has finally convened, which, of course, a Queen Moot requires 5 queens who are not injecting currently in order to convene. But we've gotten there. It took some time. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! Hellions Burninating the main, but Burninator not paying attention. The Battlecruiser jumps away. An incredibly missed opportunity because Zerglings on the other side getting the damage done. The Battlecruiser had to jump back in what could have been massive damage. What could have been massive damage by the Hellions is instead 12 SCVs lost. Oh yeah, apparently, there was an Overlord on top of the fusion core before. Don't correct me. Alright, if you want to correct someone, go to Serral's Twitch chat or something. It's the Wild West out there. Shut up! Nobody saw that. It was cloaked. What's happening? Spire on the way. Roach Warren. Roach Speed, rather. Roach Warren is done for Warren. I could have come up with something better than that. But a couple battle cruisers to complement. And so far, it's going to be mech. I'm looking for something very important. Which is... While we're drawing this away... Oh my god, I can't find it! Jesus. Oh my... The Queen Moot! The Queen Moot! Okay, maybe someday I'll find it. But it is not this day. On this day. Okay, essentially it was a picture of Warren, but his face was on a Roach Warren. That was it. That was the whole thing that I was looking for. I thought I had it somewhere. But, the technology isn't there to retrieve it. Oh my god, you got 11 queens! The knitting crew is fully together! Two Yamatos, but the queens are now angry. The creep looking great so far, but how is Burninator doing? I will remake that for the thumbnail, of course. The scan sees Baneling speed, 2 upgrades, and nothing else useful. Wasn't there a Spire at some point? There was. How many battle cruisers? Just the 2. These roaches. Inspecting the drones on a very active basis. The creep tumors across the map. Great creep spread from Warren. So the one thing that was missing was the infestation pit. The hive is going to be quite late compared to the amount of damage he's putting on to Burninator here. Burninator's probably going to get his 4th base full, relatively uncontested, if not entirely uncontested. And Warren doesn't even have an infestation pit done, which means no swarm hosts, which means no hive for vipers, brood lords, upgrades in general. It's settle in. Settle in! Because unlike the match on Everdream, Burninator's going back. He loses one battlecruiser, the other one gets away. Burninator has the army composition, he has the upgrades, and he has the economy to lock down 4 bases and then work towards more. Whereas while Warren has actually significantly less workers, and while he has a whole lot of creep spread and some tech, he's still a pretty long ways. You gotta start the hive! He's gotta start the hive! And... What? Start the damn hive! I'm gonna sit here until he does, because this game, every 20 seconds that Warren doesn't start the hive, he has like 4% less chance of winning this game. Stop chasing Hellions! Warren! He's chasing Hellions with roaches. Oh, where did the queen go? He selected the... Hey, there it is. Okay. Meanwhile, Nidus pops out. Better late than never. The scan spots the edge of it. Oh, okay.
Hello there.
Oh, battlecruiser.
Hello there.
This is a weird fight that just kind of... It feels like both players kind of happened into that fight as opposed to actively taking it. Meanwhile, though, a whole bunch of roaches, he's freeing up supply. As those roaches don't have a great life expectancy. +2 tanks take a hearty chunk out of roaches with each shot. Meanwhile, the burrow is forced out. Things starting to get a little bit crazy. All the tech is on the field. Hive is about to finish just in time. Thank you, Warren, again. Meanwhile, the corruptors are in the main, and they can just spray down everything. Spray and pray that not enough anti-air comes back in time. One factory trying to run away. He's going to build another one, or is he floating it? Oh, he's going to shift queue it back. But one factory goes down with the orbital flies. But, you fool! He forgets that corruptors are primarily an anti-air unit. So, struggles and loses the orbital. Meanwhile, another orbital is flying. This one's a slightly better protected. Siege tank goes down. The rest of the unit's coming back. We're all over the place right now. The multi-prong, 8-arm attack of Warren finally took this much time coming together, but Hive Tech is kicking in. +3 flyer attack. Not even fucking around with Brood Lords right now. He's got adrenal glands. +2 on the way. There's still a whole lot of mech for Burninator. This is a very dangerous army and tough to deal with without Vipers, without Broodlords, even with Lurkers or something. Like, you ain't gonna fight this with Ling Bane. I mean, with a asterisk, the asterisk in the shape of a Baneling saying, well, it depends on how many Banelings, but still. Wah! Why am I making these noises? I don't know. Meanwhile, the Hellions shut down. The spine crawlers providing ample defense. The tanks taking pot shots. No, oh my god! Okay, so that's not incredibly cost-effective. I don't think Warren has been cost-effective this entire match. Or series, rather. Meanwhile, Thors. One Thor taken out by Swarm Host, but a whole lot of Ravagers get pounded into submission. The ultimate duel. One Hellbat versus one Queen. Who wins? The Swarm Hosts. Because they get a nice space heater. Meanwhile, the Spine Crawlers are repositioning to the front. The Mech Army's at the back. He's trying to set up a flank. There are no Vipers. There are no Broods. He just started 7 Broods. The Thors are pounding through. He's got +3, +1, going on +2. The Nidus network is disconnected, and that Ethernet cable ain't coming back soon. Swarm Hosts looking for their opportunity. Locusts popped up. Roaches and Baitelings from the back. No Ravagers with this. He's forced to split. The Roaches are actually working on the Thors. The Locusts are cleaned up. Roach is doing a good job. Vikings on the deck protecting for the tanks. This fight is disjointed. Who's going to come out with arthritis and who's going to come out dead? It looks like the Thors will barely survive. And almost all of the reinforcements have been removed. And throughout all of this, Warren was cooking up some Broodlords. So there's no significant difference in economy. Warren has a little bit more gas mining, but Burninator has five bases going, more command centers, somewhere between finished and landed. Broodlords, you want to get involved, or like you waiting for authorization from I don't know, the Overmind? Broodlord starting to get some work done. Forces back the tanks. The Thor count has dwindled with that last attack. He had so many to start, but they were a little too early. The Broodlords finally show up, and they take center stage. Right, some Vikings. Gonna help to push them away. The Broodlords, the friendly fire from the tanks almost killing the orbital that for some reason is still sitting on the ground. And will it burn? The question on everyone in Burninator's mind. Meanwhile, another Nidus. He scans the army. The repair is there. 1 SCV. That's all we can ration at this moment. +3 flyer. Wait. Oh, he canceled +3 flyer and built a greater spire, which was a smart call because the Broodlords are definitely making the difference so far. A scan. Not a scan. A Nidus. How did I mess that up? Meanwhile, center of the map. The Queen Moot has been reduced in size significantly, but the Infestors, the Festy Boys, have joined the field. Game 1, that was the difference maker. Neural Parasite. Does he have it researched? No, he's got to get that started. The best way, if you can't buy him, borrow him, to steal a phrase. If you can't buy it, borrow it, to that phrase. Thank you. You know who you are. The Neural Parasite is on the way, but he just now realized he hadn't started upgrading it. And once again, Warren trying to fill in the gaps in his tech as opposed to preemptively researching. And that means Burninator has put together 200 supply. Neither side really has a bank, but we're totally maxed out within 1 army supply. A Queen. Burninated. Is there enough? Neural Parasite is still a long ways off. Groove Spines is done for the Hydras that don't yet exist. A Lurker Den as a choice. I love that choice. I have no idea how it's going to work out. These are +3 links. There's no carapace upgrades because we don't play defense here with Warren. We only attack in various forms on different parts of the map. The Banelings rolling through, hitting a Thor. That Thor going to be very unhappy about that inefficient use of resources. He's a bit of a stickler about it. The Broodlord's going forward. The Vikings dying. The Broodlord dying. Everyone dying. It's like the good seasons of Game of Thrones. Meanwhile, with all these lords dying, it was an even better joke than I thought. Meanwhile, Neural Parasite is on the way. The Thors are here. A whole nother round of Banelings is coming through. Warren maintains a bit of a supply lead, but the army is at his doorstep. The Neural Parasite can change the whole game. A pre-scan. He's got a couple tanks at the back. He doesn't have enough to target down all of the Infestors, though, and that's a total disaster. The Thors turn their coats, and with it, the fight. The infestors, the festy boys come in. And just in time, he lost the hatch. He lost some drones. But he held the line. Burninator beaten back to 130 supply. Warren still has plenty of mining. Another Nidus, as well as a Birdling, as well as the Swarm hosts that aren't in the Nidus. It's an escape Nidus. The next level play. Why pay for the Nidus when the Swarm hosts are already here? I actually really like this play. Well done by Warren. Gonna force. The Hellbats make quick work. Did somebody call for an exterminator? No, they called for a Burninator. How did you get this number? Meanwhile, Roaches and Hydras. The one thing we haven't seen is Vipers. But the unit composition, a surprisingly dynamic game from Warren despite him playing against Mech. He's gone from Broodlord Ling Bane to Infestor Roach Hydra, and now he wants to go Lurkers. I don't know how I feel about this switch. It feels like that's kind of the opposite direction from where you want to end up. Like Lurkers into Broodlords, not the other way around. But we'll see how it works out for him. It's been going okay thus far. He does kill the base. He does kill 14 SCVs. But it's not like Warren has this massive bank to draw on. He is nearly out of minerals and gas and barely maxes out. But 5 Vipers are joining the Penta Viper to add to the 8 arms, the Octo Warren. What am I saying? Meanwhile, Locust force the flight of the command centers. At this point, how much gas is left? Not that much and barely any minerals. It feels like Burninator is making the judgment call that this side of the map is no longer worth fighting over, while the northern side is hotly contested. Get it? Hellbats, hotly contested. XD. Meanwhile, the Vipers, how much energy? Enough for a blinding cloud or maybe a few harpoons? Vipers are there. Parasitic Bomb is a threat. Oh, the Vikings. Now, unfortunately for him... Oh, the snipes! Unfortunately for him, though, units don't have to turn to attack. You can't sneak up on them from the back. But Vipers, if they don't actually cast their spells, are kind of just flying piñatas, full of energy and a lot of gas wasted. He still has 4 Vipers. What are the attack? He doesn't have any ship weapon upgrades. So the Vikings are just... They have the armor, but otherwise relying on brute force. A scan. Oh, what? The Nidus was in the main. We're close to it. The Swarm host starting to clear out the production. The main base is obsolete. The barracks burns. I don't know if there's another barracks. He can't build factories without a barracks. Hopefully he doesn't need to. Meanwhile, the Vikings starting to zone. Oh, the fungal reaches. Another couple fungals thrown out. Parasitic Bomb. Wombo combo. Another fungal to seal the deal. But he jukes out of it into the Lurkers. Those Vikings, their fate was sealed either way. Meanwhile, full energy Vipers looking for the Yanks. Is there a Parabomb? He throws it out to the Vikings. The spread is there. A Yank into the Lurkers. The tanks continue to shell. The standoff. The no man's land is continually infringed upon. A lot of long-range options from both sides. The Vikings looking for snipes. The hatchery itself badly bruised. I wasn't sure... Are there any queens? He has no queens left for transfuse. No, Warren! Of all the units to not have. The hatch itself is getting hit. The tank's getting a little too close for comfort for either side. Down goes the hatch. Warren focusing more on the south. He's just trying to make this as costly as possible now for Burninator. Who, oh god, Lurkers unburrow, just making it that much easier for them to be knocked across the ground. It looks like Warren is getting driven back slowly but surely, but here he comes with everything he's got. Where are the Vipers? The Vikings are not on the ground, which means the siege tanks have very little buffer. They do so much damage. The Thor's eliminated. The tanks push back to a planetary. The rally point less than ideal, but the planetary and a couple more tanks still taking massive bites out of Warren as he tries to push forward. A whole bunch of Hydras are killed as well. Still a few intact, but a costly battle for both sides. Where were the Vipers? The Vipers died. If he had a couple parasitic bombs or blinding clouds, Warren could have taken a resounding victory. But instead, a bloody stalemate continues, as Warren has lost a couple thousand more gas and a couple thousand less minerals, which in the long run favors Burninator if he's actually able to mine from half the map. But so far, Warren has taken at least one extra base. I guess actually not so. Now that I'm doing some basic counting, this is the base. The base with a Nidus at it right now. That is the contested one, as Warren has comfortably mined from the bottom left side, and Burninator looks like he's fully secured the top right. The only base that is left in the no man's land, and has yet to be really contested over by either side, is the direct 6 o'clock south. Will it come to that? It's getting closer. 4 Vipers, near full energy. They drank their Red Bulls right straight out of the hive. Natural, organic, fair trade energy. Trading HP. Now there's no queens for that renewable energy system, unfortunately. That's why queens are so important. The Swarmos, why are you here? The Hellions wondering that, but not complaining. They will be burned alive. The Nidus survives with a long enough time to contemplate its impending death. Meanwhile, that happened. The Liberator doing a surprising amount of damage. There is a Spore Crawler that could move into position. Drones are not that important. Like if he has 50 drones, he'll be okay. But more Lurkers being beaten in. He's trying to constrict the movement between the bases. The base has been rebuilt by Warren. The Burninator's pushing through. Warren is starting to run out of supply here. Where are the parabombs? He's backed up against the literal wall. Parasitic Bomb, where is it? Blinding Cloud, where is it? So many tanks! 21 tanks! Can he break it? The Vikings trying. The Lurkers burrow, but immediately are unburrowed by death. Warren is desperate. He's trying to break through. There's no Broodlord. You can't fight that many tanks, but he's gonna try. There are 24 tanks and very little else. Like 4 Broodlords could turn the whole tide of the war. But Warren is now the leapfrog march to potential destruction. He needs Broodlords. He needs something. That is actually so many tanks. I mean, yeah, but like 24 tanks. This is a Eastern Front. He's now making Thors, I think, right? Burninator understanding that literally just even the one Broodlord that exists is a serious and present danger. Where is the Brood? Being microed by Warren. Warren trying to suck out whatever minerals and gas. Oh, God. Ow. Ugh. Shock and awe. Oh. Not just the actual damage, but the hearing damage done. One Broodlord shows up and turns the tide. But there is one Viking. The hardest of counters. Oh, he targets the Viper! Oh, no. That was... Oh, he has 2 more Vipers. Where are the Zerglings going? They're going south. Burninator has maintained his cost efficiency. He's lost 4,000 less gas. Zerglings are kind of a desperation move, though they are incredibly well upgraded. I will give him that. And that means they are a real threat. In fact, so much of a threat the Hellions have to scramble back. He's going to get the armory. Is there another armory? Yes, it's at the back. He's actually ripping down the factory, seizing the means of production with what he can. But Warren is really strong. Like, the factories are actually dying to Zerg. No, the Lurkers! What are you doing there? He didn't scan. There's very little anti-air, but the Vikings step a little too far forward. Burninator having trouble sealing the deal. How many factories are left? 5 factories still. The engineering bay is burning. Burninator is now mining from the contested base. Warren is taking the one to the south. The Lurkers still underneath. He's going to try to use the Hellions, but then realizes that the Lurkers do turn the tides on that. Warren is holding. He's clawing back with spines and parasitic bombs and fungals and claws themselves. And, oh, he got a fungal. Parabomb. But the combo isn't there. The Lurkers are exposed as well. Parasitic bomb is an afterthought. The production tab is starting to get pretty empty. We've reached the scarcity times. The Zerglings are in the main. There's a burrowed swarm host harkening back to the heart of the swarm days. The good old days, am I right? 2-hour games. A single Zergling working on... Does he have building armor? There is no building armor for Burninator, so the Zergling doing real damage. A few years later, he might kill all the production. There's not much left. Warren keeps taking big punches as he retreats. But how far can he go? He's abducting Vikings! How much further can he fall back? He decides nowhere. He drives the tanks at least off the ramp. And he falls back. He fell back from the northern base. The Hydras lulled into their death. He has money. It seems like he's kind of deciding what to do with it right now. What he doesn't have is larva, because queens went extinct many minutes ago. That lurker. It's not getting any easier. The broodlings draw the friendly fire in, but Burninator is still maxed. 12 lurkers are on the way. They are scanned. Burninator smells the blood in the heavily contaminated water. The lurkers are boxed in. The tech is boxed in. Everything Warren has is in the corner. And is there any breaking back out? The scans are there. The lurkers move forward. The tanks were not sieged. Is it enough? Devastating. Oh my god, it was! Are you kidding? What? Oh my god! He moved too far forward! And Warren ripped it to shreds! To shreds, you say? Yes, to shreds! Warren killed so many tanks. I think there was a blinding cloud in there as well. It's unclear. Warren's got to do it again. One more time, Warren. One more time. The scan. Oh, he retreats. The Zerglings. The Zerglings are killing the production. The Zerglings killed the production. The starports were lifted. The factories floated to the middle of the map. I mean, he's gonna proxy starports at the latest possible point in the game. I guess that's one way to do it. The tanks are getting a little closer. Is there a scan? How many orbitals are left? He has 4, so that should be plenty. Does he just go? The tanks are unsieging. There's nowhere left to go. Does he have a Nidus? No, he's back. He's in the literal corner. Before it was pretty metaphorical, but now there's nowhere left to run. He can't get up the ramp. He can't. There's nowhere left to go. He's building. This one was. Oh, the evacuation team. The Dunkirk. He scans. The Greater Spire is gonna try to escape. Oh, so many lives were lost in the process, and even the Vikings chasing down. Oh, and he loses them in the escape. The Vikings could do it now. The Liberator siege on Warren on the run. There's only 3 lurkers. Liberation is at hand. And Swarmhose Nidus is still on the table. Somehow Warren is even on supply though. The Hydras, both players have made a game of it in the center of the map. The main bases have been ransacked, ravaged, and will no longer be required. Burninator's production is in the center of the map. Warren has rebuilt whatever he could to the south. Does he actually have his tech buildings, though? That's one thing. He's evacuating what appears to be one lurker. The Locust. Finding the damage. Warren has dragged this out. That one push with the tanks. I think there was a blinding cloud. The Lurkers themselves. Lurkers are down to 1. He's still struggling. This is still a tough army to beat. There is still a hive. That is the only lurker. Precious. So incredibly precious. The Nidus Worm. He's got to pop. The Spine Crawlers, no match. No match for siege tanks. But siege tanks take time. He pops out the Swarm Host from the Nidus network. That is the router. If that gets disconnected, the entire network will probably go down. The last stand of Warren. The Spawn Crawlers. Locusts hit the deck. Vikings on the deck. It's the heart of the Swarm trailer. But this time, the Terrans win. Liberation is at hand. There's nothing left to match it. Just Swarm Hosts and despair. He's building 12 more Hydras. That's not enough Hydras. Warren gives it one last try. He's got some Locusts. I don't know how he's doing SCV damage, but he is. Burninator only has 19 workers left. I thought we were going to see him tap out, but he actually had enough to build just a handful more Hydras. Warren has no income. It's not like Burninator's a much higher here. If he can buy somehow, magically enough... The Liberators are building at the front! He's targeting the starport so they can't build Liberators! The Swarmos are on the run. There's no units that... Oh, Cyclones. An incredible choice. A great one for this time. But how does he kill the Liberators? Remains to be the issue. The SCVs are being hit by a Spine Crawler at a base with no creep. And they have nowhere to mine from. The last Lurker! The Lurker has 24 kills! But its life has... No, it's on the run! The last Lurker! It's seen so much. It's got to go a little bit further. The Hydras are on the run. The Lurker trying its best. The evacuation. But where is there left to evacuate to? The only base left is the Hive. And with the Lurker dead... After 38 minutes, Burninator finally, barely, eliminates Warren. The tenacity of both players. Incredible. Yeah, the micro might not have been immaculate. The macro was far from perfect. But, what a match. In every sense of the word. And that means it's all tied up. 2-2. No, we're not done. Jimmy says it's time for a quick ad. That was a long game. You know how it is. In these economic times when no one can mine from their main anymore. I'll be right back. Thank you for watching. Have you guys heard of Dricket? Everyone's voted one of the top 35 million Canadians last year. Dricket has put on hundreds, literally, of show matches between amazing players. If you check the description today, if you check the description, you can find Dricket's Patreon, where he gets not nearly enough money to put on these show matches that he does and run the team, but check it out. Thank him for this match, and thank you for watching. Jimmy. Thank you guys for sticking around. Our last map will be Nightshade. Assuming we don't, well, even if it is a draw. And I'm not saying it's not. Either way, it will be Nightshade. Once again in the top left, the God of Missouri. Showing that Midwest tenacity. It's Warren. From Archangel Gaming. And in the top right. Nope. Bottom right. The Terran player. Showing he can go the distance. Team Axon's Burninator. Once again, an SCV scout. Warren will go for the hatch first. We're back to basics. What most might consider the meta. A hatch first versus a one rags expand. I think the issue with the build from Warren is he went in the wrong order. Usually, what we see be successful is like Hydra Lurker Viper against Mech into Broodlord Infestor. Because that way, like the Hydra Lurker Viper, you get him building a bunch of tanks. And then by the time you go into the Broodlord Infestor, assuming you're able to get enough progress, then their anti-air is limited, and the infestors are already primed to have that neural parasite option. But there, it honestly kind of felt like both sides were rotating through units to see if something was going to work. And that last fight against the tanks, you know the one. I am so surprised. I guess he hit the perfect timing. Maybe a blinding cloud. But the lurkers giving hope where I really did assume there was none. Not enough of it. The Reaper Micro. Warren not having it with the SCV at his third. He's just not dealing with that. He takes the alternative third. Usually Zerg players aren't huge fans of this because it's a little closer to the Terran. It's a little harder to spread the creep around early on, especially off to the sides. Just the general rush distance and the positioning. But it's not a huge loss by any means. Did that just land? Did I hear a push-up? Burninator always making sure to get his building push-ups in. Oh no, here we go again. Jimmy, do we still have it? Yeah. Factory number 2, come on down. Are we going to see a third? Is this the same as the Golden Wall game, or maybe a little bit of a different? Nope. Factory number 3. It's Hell Clones. Warren really struggled against the Hell Clones last time. But this time he's going to see it with time to spare. There's nothing... Well, there's one Marine. I have no idea where it went. But the Overlord just kind of saunters in. Another classical Tech Lab cancel. Another Burninator move. It will see 3 factories. One with a Tech Lab. So... It would have been less obvious if Burninator had said what he was doing in chat. Because a picture is worth 1,000 words, and also, who knows, he's a dirty mech Terran. He might be lying. That is everything you could ask for. Almost too much for Warren. You got to be careful not to get in your own head, even though he's building a roach himself. You don't want to counter it too early. That's the summary. If you counter it too early, then they just pull back and they out-tech you and have just too much economy, and eventually they have a critical mass of Hellclone. So you get a comfortable drone count, and then you worry about dealing with the Hellclone, because it's going to take a bit. Meanwhile, the Zerglings, they killed 2 SCVs at the front. Nice pickoffs there. And spot the timing of the third, also important. 18 more Lings are on the way. Those are for potentially getting the wraparound gank in the mid lane on those Cyclones. Evo Chambers, Baneling Nest. He realized this isn't going to be some sort of 2-base all-in. Few queens eating the lock-ons. The Lings, really? Yeah. He was going a little further than I thought he would. Another hatch. I like what Warren's doing. He's got a lair done. Roach speed. Boom. Boom. All right, there it is. He's got 47 drones. That's actually a little on the lower side, but he's going to make sure. He's got a spot on the timing of the third command center. Was that a spray? No, that was part of the command center. The Hellclones are just now coming together. Warren's going to have 55 or so drones. Got to be careful not to have too many. Roaches and Lings. How many Cyclones? Just the 3. Oh, well, that's a very unfortunate timing to spread the creep. Runda's not going to be happy about that. Without Roach speed, you still got to be pretty careful about those Cyclones. Wait a second. I just now realized he didn't get Magfield Accelerator. He didn't start with Magfield. He went for Blue Flame, which, of course, is great against drones and Lings. Doesn't have an effect against Banelings. Banelings aren't actually light units. Ooh. But Lings definitely are. The third base being chipped and clawed. The standoff continues. Like this will happen unless Burninator makes a big mistake or Warren just throws away his units. I don't see a decisive engagement happening anytime soon. Warren doesn't have the economy to just bludgeon Burninator with his Ravager Baneling. Whereas at the same time, Burninator doesn't have a critical mass of Hellclone to run Warren around the map willy-nilly. A few Roach Ravager Baneling. But off a creep, this actually is a little bit of a problem. Oh, great Corrosive Biles just sniping that Cyclone. Baneling speed is about to finish. Warren, trademark Warren, taking a pretty terrible fight. Losing a whole lot more units, but he has the space to do so. Mayfield Accelerator is finishing up. The Armory a little on the later side here for Burninator, as it's only halfway done now. His upgrades are going to be significantly delayed, even though this is not very much of a basic upgrade-dependent unit composition. You're really relying on the Blue Flame, the Mag Field, the individual units and their strength, as opposed to across the field. Ravager, Ling, Baneling. A match. Oh. Those Ravagers just obliterated that. It looks like they might have a chance to get some pickoffs, but... More creep, very important. 16! 19 SCVs! Burninator and me missed it. 19 SCVs. The rug taken out from under him. And Burninator has to spend some time recovering. That's a massive blow to his economy. I'm not sure how many Banelings were committed there, but it was worth it. Now Burninator is in a precarious position. Before, he was building up SCVs. He's about even with Warren. Now he's down. He was down almost 20. Of course, a couple Hellions and a Mineral Line can quickly change that. But so far, Warren, there's no reason not to build units now. He has the economy. He's got a nice drone count. A whole round of Banelings on the way. Now is the time to swing the hammer if you're going to. Otherwise, Infestation Pit, more upgrades, etc., etc. There's siege tanks on the way. A Nidus network. I think Burninator correctly realizing that he can't go toe-to-toe with the Hellclones anymore. A scan. Infestation Pit is already done. I'm behind the times. Where's the hive, Warren? Where's the hive? Let's play Find the Hive with Warren. The answer was nowhere. The hive is only unlocked after losing 15,000 resources. Everyone knows that. Meanwhile, a Baneling counterattacked. It finds the 4th. Just gonna kind of roll right past awkwardly. Okay, that's not gonna work. Warren sets up a beautiful flank, but doesn't quite close the jaws of it quite in time, and Burninator will slip through slightly. Still gonna lose a whole lot here. Some lock-ons and... Oh, wait. Warren comes in again. Burninator on the run, but these times the Banelings. That time, Warren smashes. And suddenly he's got a 70 supply lead. Now, Warren, now for the hive? Now? Is now a good time? Warren! Build a goddamn hive! Warren! Deja vu. I've complained about this before. Warren, if ever there were a time to get that damn hive. He's got 70 workers, got all the bases. Meanwhile, the swarm hosts come out. You gotta be careful, because if there are too many units in front, the locust will get distracted. No, be careful! The locust easily distracted. So, Warren, by delaying his hive, has now given Burninator more than enough chance to secure a 4th. He's gotten his SCV count back up. He has a strong unit composition. Oh, don't... Okay, the Banelings didn't run into the rocks. The Swarmos are still a real threat. That's still a real problem. Especially with nothing at the natural. But Burninator has stabilized. It looks like Warren just wants to go. There's not even weapons upgrades. Oh, make a decision, Warren! Oh, will he be able to deny any upgrades? He's going for the armory! Oh god, no! He gets distracted! And he killed... The armory dies to a siege tank shot. This is unupgraded mech. That's all he could hope... Wait, I lied. That was +1 weapons. That was actually a really big upgrade, though. That carves out a little more space for the God of Missouri to work with. 2 armories on the way, but that is a significant upgrade delay. That opens up a much bigger window. And the Cyclones went out to kill the Nidus. They might not come back. Oh, they do. And a lot of Banelings die. He wants to get the Nidus there again, but it is kind of costly. Warren has still lost more, but he's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 base. Building... Well, I thought I saw building armor. The double upgrades start. But 2-2 is done for Warren. The Spire and the Greater Spire. How many Spires? Warren has now... oh, he's going for the double Spire place. Why not? He has everything. Wait, he's down 30 supply, though. Build the damn Corruptors! Queens pop out to spread some creep. Finally, we've come around. They're no longer extinct. I mean, we learned that earlier, but still. Oh, the tanks are exposed. Great Locust Wave! 1, 2, 3 tanks at least there. I'm not sure if they're running at the front. Spire, Greater Spire. 14 Corruptors. Now, Warren, this is nearly textbook. It started out a 2-up. He let it slip. And while Burninator is maxed out, his upgrades are atrocious. His unit composition is mediocre. What Warren needs to do is trade out a little bit of Swarm Host Roach Ravager, build about a dozen Broodlords, and then claim his hard-earned victory. I mean, it's working out. That's that. He doesn't mind losing those Banelings. Another wave of Locusts coming through. This one, like, the Hellbats are holding. But very simply, they don't have the attack upgrades in order to deal with them in a timely fashion. So a lot of Hellbats will die. And now, finally, we've spent this much time honing the strat against mech. But now Warren is bringing it all to fruition. 4 Broodlords is a little on the low side. That's a, hey, I have Broodlords, you better deal with it. And not a, hey, fuck you, I have Broodlords amount of Broodlords. Not the amount that you don't come back from. Meanwhile, the Cyclones lock on. This is getting kind of similar to last game. This is getting a little out of hand here. Warren is starting to lose a whole lot of hatcheries. He wins a fight in the center of the map. The Nidus pops out. It looks like the siege tanks are walled in. It's unclear, though. Warren has a lot of money in the bank. He can still do so many different things. Those Vikings, I think, want to land. Okay, they disagree. He's still got total it's 4 bases against 6. Nine more Broodlords. That is more like it. That's what we were looking for. This is the push. And guess what? And now it's time for the big reveal. There are 13 Broodlords against... Oh, God. He made so many Broodlords he doesn't have Corruptors. Oh, God damn it, Warren. He doesn't have enough Corruptors to fight 6 Vikings. Warren! Now is the time! Strike! Broodling, strike! Attack! A whole bunch of locusts hit the deck. The queen's getting involved. The fight is all over the place right now. But Warren rains down the Nibbly boys, takes out a swath of siege tanks. Next up are the Thors. Transfuses coming through. The queens proving their value. Corruptors show up, taking down the Vikings. The Thors trying to pound through, but there's just too many Broodlords. The tanks are next on the agenda. It looks like the Broodlings will be more than enough, and now Warren has to concentrate his efforts on making something of this space he has created. That's the one. But he is the one who's struggling for money. He's the one who can't max out. Well, Burninator has, during this, established a base. What is going on here? Where did those roaches come from that the tanks are... Okay. Did they come out of the Nidus or something? It's unclear. The Broodlord's taking their sweet time. They can't go any faster, Winter. Don't shame them. Well, maybe they shouldn't carry so many Broodlings. What if they only carried 1 Broodling? And they could move faster. Meanwhile, a whole lot of locusts. That's a great locust wave, doing a whole lot of damage. 3-3 is on the way, by the way. +2 carpets. The locusts just killing the tanks. Great trades here. As Warren continues to chip away, but Burninator's supply isn't dipping that dramatically. Where are the infestors? Oh god, the Vikings are one-shotting Broodlords. There's no transfusing that which is dead instantaneously. The Vikings are just hunting them down. Pillaging the broods, and once the broods are gone, the Vikings are kind of obsolete. Oh no! Once again, the Broodlords, they took too long to come to fruition, and now there are none. We're going to a ground-based unit composition after going to Broodlords, and Warren is looking to find himself in a very similar place to the previous match, and that didn't end incredibly well for him. Sure. The swarm hosts are getting damage done. They're killing SCVs. SCVs almost superfluous at this point. The creep is at the doorstep of Burninator, but he's holding strongly. He has mules with which to mine quickly as well. +3. Finally, those upgrades are starting to come together. He only has +1 mech weapons. This is a big difference between last game and this one. Last game was +3 mech weapons. And that's a huge difference for Hellions and Siege tanks, especially against things like Hydras, against things like Broodlings and Locusts. It's the difference between like one-shotting Lings and Broodlings and taking 2 hits, which is a whole lot of time, let alone Hydras. But +3 vehicle plating does make these things tough to kill. 6 tanks at a time. Warren is once again pushed back to his third. A key base. He needs it. But can he hold it? Here come the swarm hosts. There's also infestors involved. Neural Parasite is ready. The Locust Wave is triggered. The Banelings and Hydras and everything coming in from all sides. Infestors trying to get involved. There's not much to be done. He Neural Parasites a tank. The tanks are surrounded. A full 360 out of Warren. The Neural Parasite and tank helping as well. And Warren cleans it up. There's not enough support. The weapons, the upgrades, just not enough to carry the unit composition through. And even without Vipers, Warren sends a strong Locust Wave and overwhelms Burninator's tanks. It's not over. It's not nearly over. Oh my god, another Nidus Worm. If Warren makes the wrong move, he attacks from the wrong angle. Well, guess what? We go back the other way. Zerglings are killing SCVs. Not that Burninator can't replace them. Oh my god, they kill SCVs so fast. Fully upgraded Zerglings. +3 with adrenal glands. Yeah, +2 armor. But against unupgraded SCVs, they shred them to shreds, I do say. That fight was pretty devastating for Burninator. He lost a whole lot. The Hellbat Smart Servos is done. But you see there, the Zerglings, they don't, like once you have +2 weapons, you one-shot Zerglings. And not here. The Planetary cannot fly. A design flaw. Burninator struggling to find income now. Getting hit left and right. Trying to land a base to the north. Warren has held on. How many tanks? 25 tanks have died. 13 Broodlords as well. It hasn't been a cheap game for either side. A Venn scan we saw there for a moment. Trying to find where Warren was at. And most importantly, I think, if he's building Broodlords. Because, once again, the tank count is damn high and the anti-air is very lacking. Mules will drop. SCVs died. I don't know where. I think over to the left side. It's Hydra Lingbane Viper. Up against so many tanks again. No lurkers. Is there a lurker den? No. The Hellions take the wrong road. Immediate regret. Blinding Cloud. Incredible. Abducts. Hurt Warren more than they hurt anything else. Parasitic Bomb. Fungal Wombo Combo. Another Parabomb. He micros, but is it too late? So many Vikings will explode. The rest on the ground. Zerglings have cleaned up a base that was essentially cleaned out itself. So, despite all this, Warren taking a rough fight, but Burninator losing a whole lot of key units as well. More Vikings being produced. The Swarm Host waiting for an opportunity. Now would be a good time. The tanks are all clumped, but the Swarm Hosts come too close. A few go down. It's not like Warren can afford much of this, and that's, oh my god, the Locust. Not getting as much as I thought, only getting 2 tanks with that. A single Locust manages to sneak into the mineral line and rack up the kills. What a hero. That Locust doing almost more than the rest of the wave combined. The Hellions chasing over to the left side. We're 23 minutes in, and it's still not clear. It felt like it was trending towards Warren, and then Burninator was doing well, but then Warren found the surround, but now Burninator looking good again. +3, +3, +2 upgrades on the way. All of the Hydras moving their way to the south. He really wants to cut this off. Meanwhile, Warren has taken both sides. He's trying to encompass the entire map around where Burninator is, around a Swarm Host, Locusts, into the skies. You don't want to siege up those tanks. 22 SCVs go down. The Locusts fighting the tanks successfully. Burninator is scrambling left and right. Hydras, Lings, Banes working their way through. Is there building armor? No. Zerglings, Hydras easily popping these command centers. Burninator scrambling left and right. He's trying to take the center. Meanwhile, a whole bunch of tanks. But where does he go? What does he do? It's starting to become unsustainable. He's adding in cyclones for some increased mobility. Not a great counter to locusts or to hydras or to lings, but he needs something that is a little bit more mobile than siege tanks, it seems. Burninator, he has 136 army supply, but he's really struggling to bring it to bear. Warren playing a great match in that sense. I don't know where the Vipers are. That's a lot of tanks. He's using the Zerglings to get on top. There's nothing in front of him. The tanks doing terrible, terrible damage, but they do fall. Here comes Burninator, everything else he has. And here comes the big switch. Even if Burninator is able to cut this off and take it out, guess what? 27 Mutalisks. 27 with 3-3 finishing. The coup de grace. Finally, the unit we haven't seen in any match thus far. We've seen almost every other unit Zerg can build. Ultras, Broodlords, and faster Swarm Hosts, Lurkers, Vipers, Zings, Banes, Roaches, Ravagers, Queens, Corruptors. But for the first time, and probably the last time, Warren has built... Wait, did he build mutas in another game? Maybe. I don't know. It's been too long. For the first time in the last hour, builds mutalisks. That still counts. What is this Nidus network here? You just gotta make sure you gotta have that Wi-Fi repeater. He's waiting. Like, there's still a lot of Vikings. There are no Thors. But he really wants to make sure this works. He's going to try to get rid of the Vikings. Oh, the mutas are in the main. Okay, and a bit of a destroy. Oh, and that's a GG mutas! Warren shows up. Burninator goes out. And he prevents the reverse sweep. The god of Missouri brings it all home. He definitely did make mutas in another game. Yeah, he did. But the correct choice at the correct time. After that, life experience. After that, see, it wasn't a Lord of the Rings extended edition. It was like just a Lord of the Rings. Drink it. But there and back again. From the early game cheese to the final flight of the mutas to save the day. In Team Exxon versus Team Archangel, Warren brings it home. Burninator putting up a stiff and strong fight, making him work overtime. But Warren finally closes it out. If you guys enjoyed, check the description for Drickit and Patreon to help put on those show matches. How do you know Drickit isn't using the money for getting pro gamers to play 2v2 with him? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Well, you don't, but he doesn't make enough with it to afford any good ones. So, check out Patreon. Thank you to Drickit for putting on this match and sending me the games. I have a Discord for full transparency. Honestly, last time I checked, Drickit's making like maybe $69 a month on that Patreon. I make significantly more on my Patreon, which also exists, and I have no transparency. In fact, I think the $2 tier on my Patreon says, congratulations, you gave me money. Whereas on Drickit's, it's like, get replays from top tier players who are way better than you, and then you're still going to comment on this video and say, I don't know, was that diamond? To these top 50 GMs. So thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe and check all that out. Congratulations to Warren and Team and Archangel Gaming. Good luck! And have fun. And go watch that Innovation vs. Mario game if you haven't yet. If you didn't stop and watch that whole series, go watch it. Thank you. See you next time.